I have to redshirt the first year, so we'll make a plan as we move forward and look at the kids that have the opportunity to maybe play here and then figure that out.
Do you have a thought about how many people you'd like to have on board that first year?
Yeah, I'd love to have as many as possible.
Right.
I think the key is to get a mix of freshmen, maybe some JC kids, but trying to, like I said, even out that pool. So in 4 years, we're not trying to recruit 8 new kids again.
Your staff, do you already have some ideas about how you want to round it out, or is that still going to be in process?
I think one of my keys is to have a balanced, diverse staff. I think I'm going to look at what my strengths are, obviously, in player development, and go from there. But I've already got a lot of phone calls and a lot of interest, which is great. The timing's not perfect because we're in the middle of an academic year, but we're going to open it up and look at a lot of candidates.
What is kind of your timeline for having everything in place? I want staff in place by this date. I want to start building that recruiting class. Maybe some of these first commits by X date.
Well, signing period starts next week, so I don't know if I'll have any coaches in place yet, but I think this year we're going to try to get one coach in place. Now, which coach is it? Is it the first or second position? Is it an associate head coach? And then the other two, the other coach and then the director of ops position, we'll look at bringing in the summer, probably around July 1st.
Is this something that you've been chomping at the bit to do ever since leaving Stanford to get back in?
No question. Yeah. No question. It's to be in charge of your own program is special. I'm going to take a lot of pride in it, but it's something that I've looked forward to ever since leaving Stanford.
How about Carly Hoover? How long did you coach her?
I coached Carly for 1 year,
right?
And it was a great experience. She unfortunately got injured her freshman year, but in the recruiting process, got to really know Jolene and Dave, and got really close to the family. And Carly's a special kid, and we still talk every once in a while. She was on the elite team for the USA program 2 summers ago, so I actually got to work with her a little bit in that setting.
You spend a lot of time out west, but how much do you know about the competitiveness of softball, not in the ACC, but all throughout the Southeast?
Yeah, so obviously the ACC is one of the top conferences in the country when you look at softball. Florida State was at the World Series last year, and they're a tough program every year. North Carolina, there's a lot of up and coming programs in this conference, and I think part of that is softball is growing rapidly, and the talent pool is really everywhere now. It's just not in certain pockets of the country. But for me, I've recruited nationally for a lot of years, and so I have a lot of connections and network that I'm going to utilize to help build this program.
The drawings that we see over there, what are your initial thoughts on what that complex is going to look like and especially compared to some of these other places you've been?
Yeah. Well, I think when you look at facilities, you look at what your needs are. My biggest thing with the facility from a coach's standpoint is in the player development area. Bullpens, batting cages, things that are going to make our team better. But I know that Dan and Joe have put a lot of thought into this, and it's going to be a top-notch facility. It's something that we're going to be awfully proud of, and we're going to be able to recruit kids to this facility.
Have you had a chance? People will automatically think baseball, softball go hand in hand. You'll be beside each other. Have you had a chance to talk to Monty Lee yet?
I have. He's been really helpful. In fact, we had a good conversation this morning. I'm going to have a void for the next, 6 months. From 2:30 to 6 every day. So I told him I'll be out watching, and he was very welcoming, and encouraging. So I look forward to building on that relationship.
And Monty has reached out into the JUCO ranks and the transfer ranks to pick up kids, even going as far as the West Coast. Can he be a sounding board for you? And hey, this is how it works at Clemson, and how you can get this in?
No question. I think as a coach, I need to learn all the traditions. The paw's got to be turned at 1 o'clock. All of these things. So all the coaches, I'm going to try to lean on and get as much information as I can to help me in the recruiting process.
Now that you're here, one thing you want to see, is it a football game, basketball?
Well, I'd like to just embrace myself in the entire culture of Clemson. You know, obviously with football being so successful, you know, I got to talk to Milt Lauder last week, and you know, I'm hopefully going to be at the Florida State game with a couple of recruits, and you know, get to experience that. But you know, my wife and I have been driving around. It's a beautiful, beautiful location, and just can't wait to get here and get going.